Uh, Bishop, what's the purpose behind this letter?
Well, the purpose behind this letter is to protect what we believe is a violation of the First Amendment and to protect our own rights for freedom of practicing our religion as we see it should be practiced, and freedom of conscience, respecting the conscience of all individuals and the corporate conscience of the church.
Well, as I understand it, the Obama mandate would exempt churches per se, but would still affect the affiliated organizations?
Well, that's our understanding, but I mean, even in the churches, as I understand the rule, and of course I know this is going to be subject to interpretation, it said that it would protect, I believe, those people where you are primarily hiring and serving members of your same faith. In our colleges and universities, institutions, hospitals, Catholic charities, many of the people that we help are not Catholic, and many of the people employed in those places are not Catholic. And so that's the issue. But the real issue for us, again, is always the issue of freedom of conscience, freedom of religion.
You say we cannot, we will not comply with this unjust law.
Right.
How far are you willing to take that?
Well, right now we're willing to take it to prayer and to try to the best of our ability through prayer and through active advocacy to have this unjust mandate turned around. And that's what we hope to do.
I went to Lemoyne College. New York has enacted the Women's Health and Wellness Act back in 2003, which required birth control to be included in health care plans. Lemoyne College is complying with that law. Is that a conflict in your opinion?
Well, again, I'd like to say that I think we have to keep in mind that birth control, abortifacient drugs, contraception, sterilization are a subsidiary issue to the primary issue which we're fighting, and that is the freedom of conscience, freedom of religion. I understand that Lemoyne College is complying with a New York state law, but I also know that Lemoyne College, in association with the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities and the Association of Catholic College, is continuing to fight this federal mandate. They're complying with the civil law at this time, but they are doing their best to fight the mandate that's coming down.
You talk to advocates of this idea, and some of them will say that the vast majority of women practice birth control at some point during their lives, including the vast majority of Catholics. They implying that the church's doctrine is out of step with society.
Right. And the people who are advocating that at this time do not understand what we're fighting about at this time. We're fighting about freedom of religion, freedom of conscience. You know, if a number of people do something that's wrong, that doesn't automatically make it right. But I think the issue here is the fundamental issue of the First Amendment and the freedom that we should have as Catholics and as people of other religious denominations and people of no denomination at all to be able to practice, in our case, our faith without being influenced or unjustly oppressed by the state. Thomas Jefferson in 1809 said that there's nothing that we should hold dearer to ourselves than the freedom of religion, especially when civil authority tries to intervene in that. So the separation of church and state at this time and freedom of religion is really of primary importance to us.
That separation is important, but in this particular issue it seems to be getting dragged into the presidential campaigns right now.
Right. I agree with you that it's going to be dragged in, and obviously it's an issue that so many people feel strongly about. And we need, while there are those who object to our position, we need to make our position very clear, what we believe, what we're fighting for, what we're striving for.
Your letter does call upon your parishioners to contact Congress, so is this a bit of a lobbying effort on your part too?
Well, I suppose, if Congress is interested in knowing what its constituents think, we want them to know what we think about this law, and we want them to do what they can to help us overturn it.